All rise. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Honorable Commissioners meeting of Roane County, Tennessee is now in session. The Honorable Chairman Shannon Hester presiding. God bless these United States, the great state of Tennessee, in this honorable meeting. At this time, Commissioner Hooks will lead us in prayer. Afterwards, please remain standing for the pledge to our nation's flag.
Let's bow our heads, please. God, first and foremost, as we approach this Christmas season, we want to thank you for sending your Son to die on an old rugged cross, that we might have this opportunity here this evening, that we might have life and have it more abundantly. Lord, but Father God, we need to lift up some of those tonight that has sorrow in their family, brokenhearted. That's the Brummett family, Lord. Brother James served this committee, this commission, for many years, loyal to his county and to his state, but most of all, he was loyal to you. Lord, and we lift up little P-Man. Lord, and we know tonight, Father God, he's dancing on the streets of glory, Lord, with no pain. Father, but yet there's those that, Father, are among us tonight that still has that dreadful, dreadful cancer. Lord, help them, God, and give them comfort and peace, Lord, and help them with the pain, Lord, as they go through this process. Lord, and we pray, God, that you lay a healing hand in that upon them. Lord, we ask that you bless each commissioner that's here tonight, each and every one that has filled this room. We hope and we pray that they all know you from the free pardon of sin. And lift up your Son, that he gave his life for us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated, and please silence your cell phones.
Mr. Chairman, could we just take a moment of silent prayer in honor of James Brummett, please, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. If you've not voted like me, go ahead or not. Did so, do so at this time. All right, hey, let me just remind you, we do have a heavy agenda tonight. We do have a lot of things to go over and everything. We are an agenda-driven organization. Our meetings are agenda-driven, so we will try to stick with that agenda as much as we can and stick with the Robert's Rules in conducting our business. So just be advised of that. Need a motion to approve the minutes from the November 13th, 2023 meeting. Motion by Duff, second by Gann. Mr. Duff.
I do not have anything.
Mr. Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
Any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, passed 14-0. Acceptance of committee reports and correspondence. Commissioner Hooks, Commissioner Berry, Commissioner Hooks,
Nothing.
Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir, just a couple of quick things. Mr. Crestman, on number one, number three down here on the carbon fibers, I know we went out to that site, that's horrible. That's horrible. It looks like now we've got some other folks interested in, is that something we would just monitor through the Environmental Review Board?
We absolutely monitor through the Environmental Review Board, and they've taken interest in that. I've spoken with the interim city manager prior to the new city manager of Oak Ridge to discuss my concern about potential noise issues that will become of when they start grinding that material. And I also had a conversation with representatives from TDEC about their permitting and the compliance on that site. They were working through some compliance issues. TDEC gave me their confidence that those issues would be worked through. But I'm paying really close attention to it, and we'll be talking to our counterparts in the city about that site. It is
Well,
really something.
And once
to
again, the folks at the reserve are gonna take the brunt of that right across the river there
Right.
with probably all night grinding and stuff going on, so we can keep on top of that.
Yeah.
And then number two, on the Public Utilities Board, did you get a letter? Have you gotten a letter back that says here that you'd sent them a letter and they didn't they didn't put a motion on it or anything, so they were gonna get back to you?
They did get back to me and did not accept my proposal. Mr. McClure and I are engaged in discussion on how to resolve that issue.
Okay. And same thing on number 32, letter from Senator Yeager. I guess we probably don't have a letter back on that regarding the TWRA land.
No resolution on that whatsoever. I have had some discussions with some DOE officials about PILT in general. There's a lot to work through on that. And yeah, there's still quite a bit of runway to figure out how that's all going to play out.
Sound like we got a good punch in there though, in the fact that they understand now how much money's involved.
That's exactly right.
Number 33, Mr. Chairman, I think on this one, the commission will need to take, we need to.
So we can do that at this time right now.
Okay.
I think if the county attorney agrees.
33, I think we need.
Vote to accept resignation of Commissioner David Bell.
You need to do that at some point before January, yes.
Alright, let's finish the minutes, and then right after the minutes here, if there's no debate, we'll vote on that at this time.
Okay, and then, number 35 was our letter from Croat.
Yeah.
And so it sounds to me like Croat's gonna ride through until the dissolution of the entire K-25.
Yeah, but I think there's opportunities for dialogue along the way to help them plan in the best possible way for where those assets are gonna go, what's gonna be the disposition of all that. And none of that has been decided yet. I just wanna make sure Roane County, as you all have said many times, has a seat at the table and understands, that we're not excluded in any way about potential opportunity or the right that we have to have a say of what happens in our county. So, yeah.
And I guess in pursuit of that, at some point, there's probably gonna be a confrontation, on the airport there as well.
Well, we're in a fact-finding phase right now, so hopefully no confrontation, but I think, again, there's a lot of
They can play
opportunity.
both sides, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Number 8, I guess we keep getting information and we keep getting questions about Candy Creek Bridge. Do we know, or the road committee know any update on that?
I don't have any, although I did see, it was a post, road committee, do y'all have any, who's chair?
We do not.
No, the utilities are done, I think. We finally got the utilities out of the way, there's a sewer line.
Yeah, there's something in the back of my head ringing, there's a new development there, and I can't remember, it's nothing official, it's just something I happened to see, and I can't remember what it was.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Alright, any other discussion or debate?
Mr. Chairman, I'll see the road superintendent this week, and I'll bring that up in probably next week.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you, sir. At this time, we'll vote on the committee reports and correspondence. Alright, 14-0, at this time, we're gonna vote on letter 33 item, letter of resignation by Commissioner David Bell. Ariel, are you set up for that, or will you do a voice vote?
No, I didn't know we were doing that tonight.
Okay, I apologize.
That's okay.
We
You
can,
need a motion and a second.
We can do it unanimously.
I do a motion. I second.
got a motion and a second. Mr. Henderson, any discussion?
None further.
Who's second over here?
I didn't. No, nothing further, sir.
Alright, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll call the
We
roll.
do just universal voice.
We can probably just do a voice vote, don't think it's, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, like sign. Count 14-0. Alright, while we're on that subject, we sent out a letter saying that we would fill that vacancy on January 8th. Since then, and I said that it would be a regular scheduled meeting as well. Do we think that we have a number of participants that we need to have a separate commission meeting on filling that seat? No.
How many participants do we have?
It's hard to say and run it down, probably 3 or 4, but
And Mr. Chairman, I mean, you can always even get nominations from the floor, so I think let's just, best thing to do, just let her rip and see what we got, and we'll vote on it.
on January 8th, regular scheduled meeting. And I'm fine with that for time-wise and everything else, so, all right.
Mr. Chairman, quick question. If we do get interest from people who call our office and say, hey, what's the process? How would you all like me to direct them?
Well, you've already directed one, send a resume to the group or to the commissioners, and I'm fine with that as well.
So share any resume, ask for resume and share that with commissioners.
Yes, sir.
Is that okay? Good.
You need to file it with the county clerk.
Okay.
And then we would distribute it.
I have a
to-
question.
Okay.
We've only seen, or I've only seen one letter, one resume.
That's all that came through at this time.
Okay, but you said there's more people wanting.
There has been expressed interest to the commissioner, so. All right,
And,
Mr. Berry.
and again, Mr. Chairman, there really, some of them you may not have, you could have someone nominated from the floor that didn't have a resume.
The night up.
Yes, sir, so just the fact that the resumes, that really, that's a plus for some who want to get their name out, but as far as us voting and stuff, they can nominate themselves that night.
Night of meeting.
Yes, sir.
Always can change up to all right, thank you guys. Notice, Ariel, I thought I seen one up there.
I'll put them back.
All right, thank you, if you could, read those.
John Choate, Patricia DePriest, James Gunter, Teresa Jones Laudenslager, Brenda Russell, Chelsea Scarborough, Caleb Walker, and Rebecca Woody.
I have a motion.
So moved.
We'll go back. Motion by Junior Hendrickson, second by Dove.
Just appreciate your willingness, sir.
Mr. Dove,
Nothing further.
any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, 14-0. Next is hearing of delegation, and to the audience that will come up and speak, I will tell you, we have a heavy agenda tonight. Please keep it within the 3 minutes. You'll get a warning tone, when we get closer to the 3-minute mark. So if you want to address the county commission, please step forward and do so at this time.
Good evening, my name is Dale Byer, 200 Highland Way, and District 2. Honorable Commissioners and Rome County Executive, good evening. I come to you before you today, a dedicated constituent to Rome County. You might recall the poster I presented last month showcasing information about the impact RomeNet has had on the community. There seems to have been some confusion about the purpose of the poster. Through the vivid images, I wanted to bring to life the stories of those who have benefited from our programs. So instead, I provided to you the poster as a handout so you can review it at your leisure. It's crucial to understand that many participants in our classes, as well as our volunteers, face physical disabilities, so we try to make information as accessible as possible. The free refurbished Chromebooks come equipped with dozens of accessibility features specifically designed to assist users with varying needs. Today I'm providing another story to you about 2 disabled seniors, a mother and a daughter who took a computer basics class at Victorian Square Assisted Living facility in Rockwood, District 1. Since 2018, we've refurbished and distributed over 1,000 computers, predominantly in Harriman and Rockwood. In 2003 alone, our 30 digital skills classes reached over 250 participants, underscoring the critical need for digital literacy, especially among disabled and seniors in our communities. However, I must address a matter that has overshadowed these noble endeavors. I'm referring to the resolution passed on August 8th, 2022, caused by the confusing Facebook posts I regretfully authored. Again, I want to extend my sincerest apologies for these posts. I never intended to intertwine RoneNet with any political campaign, least of all with my husband, Tony Byer. It also should be noticed that not a single cent of the $6,500 Roane County provided to RoneNet as a nonprofit organization was used to support any political campaign. As RoneNet's accountant explained last year, the $6,500 is spent strictly and solely on refurbishing digital devices and teaching digital skills in our communities. In his capacity, Tony Byer budgeted, saved, and spent his own money on his campaign, ensuring a clear and documented separation of funds between his political campaign and RoneNet. I stand here to ask you for forgiveness and understanding. I have learned a significant lesson from this experience that has changed me and reinforced my commitment to our mission. I plead with you to see beyond my lapse in judgment and to recognize the crucial work that RoneNet continues to do in this county. Let's not let past misunderstandings hinder the progress and potential of digital inclusion efforts in this county. Thank you for your understanding and unwavering dedication to Roane County. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next. Anyone else desiring to address the county commission?
Good evening, my name is Betty Johnson.
Jimmy Clark.
We're here to get an answer from last month about the Asheville and Kingston. We are excited about to get a correct answer. And to this time, we bring on different pictures so you can see to pass them around. So those of you that didn't see the Asheville, didn't know how bad it was and stuff, so we're gonna pass these around from side to side, and you can just look at the actual damage. We have actually pictures. So we're just here asking to get an answer from last month.
I know, why don't you go ahead?
Okay. Okay, sorry.
You wanna tell them?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
would it be appropriate, since they're here, to move them to the front of the agenda so that we can
We
get
can, if you can switch that resolution to the front, as soon as let's continue on, we'll get to the county attorney's business, and the county
Do you want to do
executive.
it right after hearing a delegation?
Yeah, well, we can do it, yeah, right after that. All right,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. All right, anyone else want to address the Roane County Commission? All right, seeing none, hearing none, we'll move on, to the, county attorney's report.
We're gonna do the
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you.
You got it.
Remember, I did say we were agenda-driven organization, right? All right, this is, resolution 12/23/16, a resolution giving the county executive authority to transfer $2,500, within the miscellaneous, functions, 101-58900 to cover expenses that would place a memorial for the TVA Asheville. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Junior Henderson, second by David Brackett. Mr. Henderson.
Yeah, I just want to thank the ladies for everything that they've done, you know, because we can't, you know, let the people that died be forgotten. And I appreciate y'all being in touch with me and working with me, and I hope everybody here will support this resolution for us.
Commissioner Brackett.
Well said by Mr. Hendrickson. I think it's something we need to do.
Commissioner Byrd.
Yes, I'm not sure that they understand, you just got your money. But also, I just want to say, none of this would be possible without your organization continuing to fight, continuing to make it a viable part of our county, because it's our county history now. We're gonna be stuck with that county history forever and ever, and we're just now trying to get over it. So thanks to you all. And Mr. Chairman, I would also like to include in Mr. Cresswell's presentation, I guess, that December 22nd on the courthouse lawn, that we represent and have a presentation for these folks, again, to make sure that everybody in our county has an opportunity to celebrate with them. So at 10 o'clock on the 22nd of December, at the courthouse, we'd love to see you and to honor again your folks. Both those who didn't make it and those who are still suffering from it. So, get them. I'm sorry.
Commissioner Gaines, yes, I'd like to thank you, and I'd like to thank you for bringing this to our attention, and for allowing us to be able to have a very, very small part. Your family is very honored by you, and we appreciate you, and I hope and pray that someday someone will care enough about each and every one of us that you have shown for the care for your family. And I hope that we never forget. And as long as you're here, and as long as there's people like you here, may we never forget. It was a tragedy, and it will remain a tragedy. But it doesn't have to be a total loss. When we can continue to remember our people and what they are and what they did for us, there's never a loss. So thank you so much.
This adds to our healing. This adds to our healing.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies, would you like to join me up here, please? What's it?
It's a vote on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna read the proclamation and vote. Come on up, come on up.
You want to vote?
Anybody wants,
Let's make it official that he's actually doing that since it has a financial action. So call.
well, this is just proclamation.
Okay, but I'm gonna
That's fine.
call the vote.
Come on, join me right here.
Sure you do.
This is one of the good things that we get to do.
Thank you.
So, they just voted to approve, the request that you all made, last month when you were here talking about your husbands. You definitely struck a chord with each and every person in this room. So, the money has been approved, and then I wanna read this proclamation to you all. So whereas on December 22nd, 2008, the dike containing the coal ash pond ruptured at the Kingston Fossil Plant, and whereas the ruptured dike released 1.1 billion gallons of coal ash slurry into the Emery and Clinch rivers, covering over 300 acres of surrounding property, and whereas TVA spent roughly $1 billion to remediate the impacted area from 2008 to 2015, and whereas in 2018, a federal grand jury found that the contractor responsible for the cleanup efforts at the impacted site did not properly inform workers on the site about the dangers of exposure to coal ash and failed to provide necessary personal protective equipment. And whereas many workers at the site suffered significant health issues related to their exposure to coal ash, and whereas several of the workers whose health was severely impacted have died as a result of their exposure to coal ash, leaving families behind whose lives have been forever impacted by this tragic and devastating event in our community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Roane County government does hereby declare on the 15th anniversary of the Kingston Fossil Plant ash spill, the worst man-made ecological disaster in the history of the United States, that December 22nd, 2023 will be a day of remembrance to honor and memorialize the workers at the Kingston ash spill site who died tragically due to their exposure to coal ash. Be it further resolved that December 22nd will continue to be a day of observance in perpetuity in memory of the workers who died due to exposure to coal ash from the dike failure on that fateful day, December 22nd, 2008. So I just want to tell you all that you made a tremendous impact on this, and this is the county's effort to honor your husband's memory and to do that in perpetuity. So we'll use the $2,500 to do the memorial placard as a place yet to be determined. We'll figure that part out. But December 22nd will always be a day of remembrance of your husbands and all the others who lost their lives in Roane County.
Thank you so much.
You're right. Here. Turn right here, Keith, we'll take a picture real quick.
Just contact his office.
Yeah.
Just let him know how many you need.
Alright. This time we'll hear from the county attorney and his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have one resolution on your agenda, Resolution 122306. That pertains to the former Harriman Paperboard property in Harriman. That property comes up for tax sale in April, and there are Roane County taxes owed on it. It is also a Superfund site, and according to the EPA website, remediation has not yet begun. So I am recommending that the county not enter a bid on that property. So if you adopt this resolution, you will be not entering a bid, and I will pull it from the tax sale. Next month, you will be getting similar resolutions on 3 more properties that are drug properties that have not been cleaned up. And we had property maintenance court last month, and you've seen all the court orders in the packet. We had one more case that has been removed to federal court. It is Roane County versus Lloyd Tucker, and it is a suit that we filed over some unsafe property. The federal court has given Mr. Tucker through Monday of next week to convince the court that there is federal jurisdiction, so that one may be coming back soon. That is my report. Does anyone have any questions about anything?
I have a question. Was there ever a record of decision issued on that site?
Pardon me?
Was there ever a record of decision, a ROD issued for that site?
According to I summarized some of that in the resolution. Let me pull the resolution.
Because we had some trouble with that, but we finally got it straightened out.
There is a finding that it was contaminated, and there were some dates as to when things were supposed to be done. Then, according to the EPA website, there's a final remedy that is to be selected between September and November 2024. Final remediation actions to begin between April and June of 2026. And there was no indication as to when it would be removed from the Superfund
Said,
site.
I'm gonna get my house, have to build in a house, and we were having some trouble because it's too close to that Superfund site. So I'm gonna build that house, because I got word today that we're gonna release the bill.
All right, thank you, sir. Any other questions for the county attorney? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll move on to the county executive report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Progress on the Roane County Health Department building continues. Demolition is in full swing. The bid openings for construction will occur in the middle of January. Records are being moved from one building to another at the old Michael Dunn Center campus as Michael Dunn Center prepares to close on the sale of that site to their buyer, who will then become our landlord until we move out. As of last week, there have been 529 survey responses to the Long Range Planning Committee survey in preparation for the comprehensive plan, which is great. 529 is a fantastic number. Look for a meeting scheduled soon, for a planning meeting beginning in January. And the schedule will include monthly meetings with the community development partners, which is our vendor, but followed up by workshops with probably just us, the steering committee, to work through our homework. Because I don't think we'll be able to get done what they want us to get done in their meetings. That's just my feeling, but I think that's how our schedule will work out. And these will go from January to April. And then finally, the Secretary of Energy, U.S. Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm, was in Roane County last week and visited the TVA Clinch River SMR site. This was a very important meeting for the future of the SMR project, which will be our country's first. Mr. Chairman, that is all I have.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Any questions for the county executive? All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll go on to special orders. and confirmation of appointment to, Linda, Rittenhouse to serve as trustee to fill vacancy of the Roane County, Library Board. This term will end June 30th, 2026. Have a motion and a second. Motion, by Goss, second by Gann. Mr. Goss.
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Rittenhouse she'll definitely be an asset to this organization. She's very involved in the community in various aspects, so it's a smart move for the county.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Gann.
Completely agree, sir.
All right. Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed, 14-0. Confirmation of reappointment of Roane County Sheriff Jack Stockton to the Roane County Emergency Communication District E911 Board. Term will end December 2027. Motion by Junior Henderson, second by Lance Dove. Commissioner Henderson.
And further.
Commissioner Dove.
Nothing.
Any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, next is their zoning resolution. We will open this up after it's tabled and put it on public hearing. So this is zoning resolution 12-2301 Zulu, a resolution of Roane County Planning Commission recommended action by the Roane County Legislative Commission on a resolution amending the Roane County tax map as requested by Justin Pugh and on Bell Road 132, map 045, parcel 005-00. Have a motion and a second. All right, motion by Burry, second by Ferguson. Commissioner Burry.
Yes, I would yield to Gopher.
Well, hold on, before we do that, let me get it fully on the table and open up the public hearing after. Commissioner Ferguson.
No, it's been through the planning commission.
Okay. At this time, we'll open a public hearing for hearing of the zoning resolution.
Guys, this is a piece of property off of Bell Road over in Harriman. Basically, northeast of the industrial park. The property was requested to be rezoned to I-2 a long way back, and the people there, it's never been created into that. And this young man would like to put his home there. And there are about 3 or 4 homes right there in that area. So Planning Commission unanimously recommend the rezone of this parcel of property from the I-2 to A2. Thank you.
All right, this time we can hear from the public at this time if anyone wants to talk about it. See, okay, go ahead, come on, again. Anybody?
This is Mr. Pugh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, it's my father-in-law's farm, he's right here. And he gave us a parcel to build a house on, my wife and 2 kids. So we're ready to go as soon as we can get it going.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Any debate from the commissioners? Hearing none, seeing none. At this time, Madam Clerk. All right, 12-2301 Zulu passes, 14-0. So with that said, we'll be back in the regular commission meeting with new business. Resolution 12-2301, resolution adopting and amending Part 4 of the Energy Conservation Chapter 11 Energy Efficient of the 2018 IRC to comply with chapters 0780, 02, 23 of the state of Tennessee. I have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Hooks. Second by Commissioner Gann. Commissioner Hooks.
I'll yield to our codes director. Guys, this resolution and the next resolution are just some cleanups for the exact verbiage that the state of Tennessee wanted to see in those resolutions about amending the 2018 energy efficiency requirements to
go back to the '09 and stick with the '09 tables. That's what it does. It gets rid of, blower door testing and, whole house testing that we don't need it right now. And, that's basically it. It's not changing anything that we have adopted at all. It's just the proper verbiage that they want to see.
And it's not changing to the mass R value wall installations, R30, we're sticking with the recommended R14.
You are correct.
All right, thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
All right, Commissioner Gann,
They can just come here or explain it to us.
all right, any discussion, any debate?
Just
Mr. Berry.
So, Mr. Cofer, these graphs and things in the bottom here, no changes, that's where the changes are taking place in these?
Yeah, we're using the old tables instead of the new tables, the '09s.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, pass 14-0. All right, resolution 12-2302, resolution adopting the 2018, International Energy Code, IECC, to comply with the chapter 0780-0223 in the state of Tennessee. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Hooks. Commissioner Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Coper, done address it, thank you.
Commissioner Hooks.
Nothing further.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution passed, 14-0. 12-2303, resolution to adopt and update property tax incentive program known as the payment in lieu of tax of the pilot. Motion by Commissioner Henderson, second by Commissioner Brackett. Commissioner Henderson.
I have nothing further.
Commissioner Brackett.
Nothing.
All right, any discussion? Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir. Let's see, we got Mr. Palmer and. I'll yield. I think we've had a pilot in for a number of years. It's worked really, really well, and as we progressed, we've made changes along the pilot. One, I think one of the biggest things was adding the City of Oak Ridge Industrial Board into it several years ago, so that we're both now on the same pilot agreement, right?
That's great.
So I guess the only thing I would ask is as we've changed, under commercial now, if we had someone who wanted to build a hotel, is that under this pilot?
Prior to this pilot reauthorization, commercial was not defined in the terms, but that's something we've added. So commercial is defined as means of retail, hotel, or recreational facilities.
So the same would be true then if we had someone who wanted to raise a current hotel and rebuild, then they would fall under the same pilot?
From the way I read the pilot, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I know one of the things in the past has been, we did annual audits to make sure that the employees, the number of employees, the residency requirements, the things that were in the back here that we get points for, we did an annual audit. Is that something we're still doing?
That's correct.
And do we do that, or is that volunteer on the?
They're supposed to provide that as part of the agreement. And some of the language that's in there, it strengthens the request for information as far as when they provide their employee information.
Right.
Now we want zip codes that come with it. Instead of just providing the number of employees, we want to know what type of employees they are and how much they're paid.
Okay. So we do the same thing with wages?
Yes. That's something that wasn't required before, but it's something that we're looking to require with these changes.
Okay.
Chair recognizes County Executive.
We only have one current, we only have one current pilot, and they're still in the startup process, which is Malibu.
Yeah, everybody else has come off.
Come off?
Yeah. Soon as their pilot expires, I reach out with our legal counsel and theirs and make sure that we execute the quitclaim deed and make sure the property gets put back in good name.
Just for curiosity, do you know how much you're gonna bring in next year off of the first year, off the top?
No, not off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay, so it's gonna be significant though as we move forward, because HD Hackney, we had several others that were on that program.
Yeah, and some of those were not traditional, like you've seen here, these 50% abatements. Some of those were pretty sweet deals.
Right.
So now getting them fully on the tax roll is really beneficial to the county.
So now, and that brings up a good point, because HD Hackney had a sweet deal. Now we're gonna use strictly the matrix. There'll be no more sweet deals.
That's what I've used since I started working for the Alliance and representing the Industrial Development Board. That doesn't mean they can't ask for more. If a company wants to ask for 75% abatement instead of 50, they can do that, but we have to come back to you guys and ask for that approval.
And that would be the same thing for the number of years?
Yep.
That if they wanted to expand it, then you come back and.
Yeah, the only thing we can offer is what's pre-approved through this pilot reauthorization. Anything outside the bounds, for example, with Malibu, as far as waiving their closing fee, we had to get y'all's approval for that. Now, that's spelled out in here now to give us that ability, but anything that's outside what we approved tonight, we have to come back and ask for approval through county commission.
Again, I think the original matrix that we came up with years ago, even though we may not have followed it to the letter, had put us in great shape for this one tonight. And I think Mr. Palmer and the industrial board, have done a tremendous job. In the last 3 years, we've closed on, well, I guess we're out of line.
Can I tell what we've done in the last 3 years?
You're welcome to.
What we're scheduled to close with Malibu in the next.
Did you hear when I said we were agenda-driven meeting? He was here, yeah.
He was. He was not, by the way.
Can I'll still yield to him?
Well, you've already had 3 minutes.
I need to reload.
Make it short.
Okay, no, that's fine. Please, quick.
Okay, the industrial development, we have sold 249 acres of property with land sale proceeds close to $4.9 million. The creation and retention of close to 1,200 jobs with a capital investment of about $170 million.
And a lot of that is gonna bring on a lot of personal property as well, right?
That's correct.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you all. All right, any other discussion, any other debate on 12/23/03? All right. Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, resolution passed 14-0. All right, the next two are, ad hoc, so let me tell you what we're doing here, and then I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. So we're gonna have a deep dive review of all our, committee meetings, all our ad hoc meetings, and I wanna have that sometime in April, May, and look and see just how many meetings that we had to have. Some of our commissioners are on 12 to 14 meetings. That consumes a lot of time. So run these till this summer here until we sit down and we're gonna have a deep dive over those, because we will have to stand up the committee on committees again to reassign another commissioner to participate in the committee meetings, come after January. So just be advised of that. All right, 12/23/04, resolution to establish ad hoc committee, study and review the capture of applicable taxes on short-term rentals throughout the Roane County under the oversight and direction of the Roane County Commission. I have a motion by Wilson, a second by Gann. Commissioner Wilson.
Yeah, this is something I've been dealing with, about getting on the, in the docket, been talking to Molly. Every county's dealing with this right now, and, it's something we can capture tax dollars that's being lost. They hide behind a VRBO or a Airbnb, just to give you something to think about real quick. If you rent a house, it's around $1,800 a month. That comes out to about $24,000 a year. They rent this by the week. So you're looking somewhere between $130,000 for the year to rent the same house, up to $234,000. Depending if you're getting a cabin on the lake, 4 or 5 bedrooms. That's on the minimum side, we're losing out on 106,000 up to around 200,000. So we're just wanting to capture in this tax dollars. A lot of the people live out of state that rent these. So, it could bring significant revenue into our county. And it's just something we need to have a committee to look at. Every county is dealing with this. And there is software out there that helps capture this. If you could just imagine what Sevier County is losing because everyone's going to that. They're getting away from cabin rental, and they make the fees applicable to they pass it on to the consumer. So it's just a way that we need to look at, and I wouldn't venture to say on the next two that if we were able to successfully do this, that every county in the state wouldn't adopt the same thing. So just something to look at.
All right, Commissioner Gann.
Ben's right, it's something that has a huge potential for additional revenue for Rowan County, so we need to get a handle on it.
All right, with that, Commissioner Byrd.
Yes, Mr. Copeland, you got some software that you're working on now?
Well, I don't have the software. There is software available that will do that capturing, of every, short-term rental unit within the county. You have to go through a company to use it. They have the algorithm built for it already. Short-term rentals are an issue, and we've already pulled together a lot of data and a lot of different ordinances and stuff. One of our bigger counties in the state has already done this, and they did it back in 2015, and then in 2016, they had netted $1.6 million more in taxes. And there's other things, other fees that can go along with that most counties and most cities are doing, and we'll have all that information ready to roll.
So we're tracking what other counties and stuff are doing.
Yes, sir. We have done research about every county around us, every city in those counties around us, and then we've jumped out in the state of Tennessee to other counties that are comparable to us in population size and stuff, and got all that data pulled in.
Is this something you're working with the tourism committee on?
No, this is my office
Is that something
as
you
the
could
planning
work with the
department.
tourism committee on?
Huh?
Is that something you could work with the tourism committee on, because they're tracking,
So what this,
they're interested in the same thing?
Yeah. We're
when
glad
I
to.
read this name, list of names off, it'll have the people it's gonna work with. And it is one from tourism as well. All right. Any other discussion? Here's the names I've got, and commissioners, if you have too many subcommittee meetings, please get with me. If we need to change your name off there, Commissioner Berry, Commissioner Gann, Commissioner Parks, and Commissioner Brackett, and then, add to Molly Hardum and Stacy Wilson for that, committee. All right, any other discussion? And like I said, commissioners, we do need to sit down sometime in April, May, look at all our committees and everything else, reevaluate those, reevaluate the ad hocs, and see, what's needed and what's not. Any other discussion on, 12-2304?
Mr. Chairman, can I recommend something?
Now that you're talking, yeah.
Sorry. There needs to be somebody from our office on that committee,
All right, we'll let codes
because
out.
that's where it will originate from.
All right, we'll let you have a spot on the bench.
Should've kept my mouth shut.
All right. Do you have a name? We'll throw it to it right now.
Just put me there.
All right. Any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion passed. 12-2305, a resolution to establish ad hoc committee to study and review the enforcement of the International Buildings Code as it relates to long-term use of recreational vehicles under the Rowan County Commission's oversight and direction. Motion by Wilson, second by Cunningham. Mr. Wilson.
This is another one that I brought before the commission. This is a huge, huge issue. I don't know if y'all realize that. But the codes that we have adopted does not allow someone to hook up to a recreational vehicle. There is special circumstances that allow this. If someone that I'm specifically dealing with has moved into the area to take care of their mother and father, and they wanna hook up temporary power, they're not allowed to do that under the codes that we have adopted. I think that's wrong, in my opinion, if you're on your own. Do what?
That is not right.
Okay.
Okay, well, this isn't up
right
for
there.
debate right now, but here's what I'm getting across, so. If somebody wants to do that, they cannot do a long-term, they cannot hook up their RV and live on their own property, is what this is. They're up on, the property assessor is dealing with this right now, going to the committees. There are special circumstances, but there's no way to collect the, tax dollars on this. Some of them are charging them as mobile homes in 2 other counties that's dealing with this. But right now, there is a situation where someone cannot hook up temporary power to their, and to me, that's wrong on, if you're doing that on your own property. So I think we need to look at that because we're in a housing crisis right now. If you're trying to rent, they are literally tripled what they're renting for. There is nothing out south of the river. They'll charge you $2,800 for something that should rent for $6,000. That's what's happening. People cannot afford that. If they have an RV and they can stay in it, I do understand there is special circumstances. But in this situation, there are people that cannot hook up. And that is wrong. And we should not make people homeless if they have the capability of being in an RV to live on their own property. So with that being said, I would like us to look at it and review the codes that we have adopted to see if there are special circumstances that can be done and also capture the tax dollars on that as well.
All right. Commissioner Cunningham.
Mr. Coker, if you want to speak to that, I know that you did speak to the committee about different things about that.
I'm good. There are special circumstances that someone can live in an RV on a piece of property anywhere in Rowan County under state law that is protected. Okay? It's called the Welfare Act or something like that. We call it granny pots. So those issues are taken care of. I would love to know who the person is that says that they can't get a temporary home. I'll be glad to help them do it.
Thank you.
All right,
So do we need a resolution on this then,
It needs to be studied.
we need a definition, do we need to be more defined?
Yeah, because,
Needs to be a resolution.
you're looking at R1, R2, A1, and A2. The idea is these things being permitted in to do it.
so codes will be involved with this ad hoc committee as well. And we'll look at it and bring this information back to the county commission, same with the other one as well.
Chairman.
Sir,
I'd just like to add to build on Commissioner Wilson's points that he made. This is another issue that affects every county across the state, and there are multiple issues with RVs on top of this one that I think if the committee studied, they'd also would have opportunity to address. So it's not just this one, but there are other opportunities too.
all right, any other discussion, any other debate? Here's a list of names for that, subcommittee. Chris Lehman, Charlotte Cunningham, Lance Dove, and myself. Also with Glenn Cofer and Molly Harding. And anyone else that needs to be on that, please let me know and I can add them to that as needed. So, all right, any further discussion, any further debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion passed. All right, next one is 12/23/06, resolution authorizing the clerk and master not to offer a bid on the 2024 delinquent tax sale for the search of property imposing environmental risk. That's the one the county attorney spoke to us. Motion by Burry, second by Henderson. Commissioner Burry.
I think the county attorney spoke to it, and he gives his thoughts.
Commissioner Henderson.
Agree with the attorney.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. 14-0, resolution 12/23/07, a resolution to donate a certain vehicle from juvenile probation department as described below to to the West Rome County Volunteer Fire Department. Motion by Junior Henderson, second by, Dan Gann, Commissioner Henderson.
I think we should do that every time before it goes to, see if another department needs it before it goes out to public, so I'm good with it.
Commissioner Gann.
Nothing further, sir.
Any debate, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Resolution 1223, passed 14-0. Resolution 122308, resolution using the, General Assembly of the State of Tennessee enact law to facilitate, notification of certain federal actions and federal oversight to uphold state sovereignty. Motion by Parks, second by Gann, Commissioner Parks.
Yeah, this resolution simply shows Rome County support for the House bill and the Senate bill that gives a notification process for a bill or a rule or regulation. Each year, the federal government adds around 4,000 rules and regulations to the state and the local governments and the general public as a whole, and some of them are quite unconstitutional, some almost outright. And so this just gives support for them two bills. Just a good example, their Covenant Trucking in Chattanooga just settled with the federal government for a $700,000 fine. And they were simply asking for people to show their green cards or their legal status in the country. So the rules and regulations are just overbearing and getting worse and worse.
I agree.
That's all I got.
All right, Commissioner Gann.
I thank Commissioner Parks for submitting this resolution.
All right, any other discussion, any other discussion or any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed, 14-0. Resolution 122309, encouraging the Tennessee Secretary of State and the Tennessee Attorney General to enforce the provisions of Tennessee Code Annotated 66-2-301 through 306 in Rome County. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Bragg. Commissioner Wilson.
This is also one that I brought before the commission, and thank you to our county attorney for helping on this. All this is about kind of what Commissioner Parks was doing. This is in support of a law that was just passed in July 1st of this year. We know that China is buying up property.
Yes.
A lot. And in case you don't know, they have bought it in Loudoun County. And they're buying large acreages. And we have currently a very large acreage that's inside Rome County that's for sale. And it attracts them. And then just in 21, they did over, I think it said on here, $70.8 billion. They are literally buying up our counties. And so we want the state to enforce the law that's set aside. And like Mr. Levy said, the LLCs that they hide behind and they sell to corporate conglomerates to build housing or whatever they do under global, international, these industries that they have. It almost takes a full-time person to research this LLC to find out that it finally comes back to owned by China. And if you think it can't happen, it's right in Loudoun County, 15 miles down the road. So I just want to see our county support this and send it to our legislation like Mr. Fritz come and talk to us last month. So that's all this is. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Henderson.
You got second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Bragg.
Nothing further.
Yeah, thank you. I was talking to Monty and Loudoun County property. When they finally did register it, they got provisions in there that it can never be owned by anybody in the United States, ever. A U.S. citizen can never own that property now. And it's legal. They got it through, and so this here hopefully will help protect that.
All right, any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, majority passed. All right, resolution 12-2310, resolution approving the first distribution from the opioid settlement, funds received from the state of Tennessee for the purpose of addressing the opioid crisis in Rome County. Motion by Commissioner Berry, second by Commissioner Duff. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, I would defer to County Executive Cressman to, speak to this. After thanking the opioid committee, maybe the most important committee that's ever been appointed in Rome County, so we appreciate your help and your support and, what you're doing to get us started.
First, Commissioner Duff.
I'd like to hear what
Wait.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get started, I'd like to yield to either Commissioner Lehman or Commissioner Cunningham, since both of them sit on the council, to see if they have anything they'd like to add first.
I'd just like to say that, first of all, I appreciate you and what you've done in bringing this group together, and a lot of them are here tonight, and this committee has worked really hard, and we've shared a lot of information. People have brought things that they found in other places and from other organizations and brought in to share, and it's really, we've done a lot of work. We really have, and this resolution will really kick things off in a good way, get things started.
I'd like to ask the members of this committee to please stand, if you don't mind. So anybody that's on this committee, if you're here. There's probably nobody more passionate about the room than Wade and the members that just stood. As you'll hear tonight, see, we're just not sticking our toes in the sand here. We've dove head first. We're probably a decade behind the curve. I think Dr. Boda has got a presentation here in a little bit. We'll talk about the death rate in Rome County, surrounding counties, but I'd just like to thank everybody that's been part of this and so passionate about the cause here, and we must support this going forward tonight, please.
Mr. Chairman, thank you both, by the way. Mr. Chairman, I don't want to be presumptuous and just start into a presentation if it may not be necessary. I'd love to discuss how we came to this proposal and give you the basis, the process, and the council's here to answer any questions you may have, but only if you all feel it's necessary. In the interest of time. So.
Well, I think you got all your membership here. I'd love to hear.
Okay, all right. I wanted to make sure that I didn't just jump in and eat up time. If I had 14 votes right off the time. Each of you has a presentation in front of you here, and I'm gonna go through as quickly as I can in the interest of time. This is really important and exciting things. These are important things to talk about. You'll see that first slide, there's a mission. It reduced deaths caused by substance use disorder, reduced trauma of children. This point came from one of our members who rightly pointed out that the root cause for most of the substance use disorder in our community is from childhood trauma. So as we go back in our next phases of looking at how to tackle this issue, childhood trauma will always be one of our priorities, and making sure that we're minimizing it as much as we can. Decrease the utilization for emergency care, decrease arrests, and increase the resources and access to resources for mental health care. That's what our mission is. I'm not going to hit on a timeline. You can follow through that information because I really want to get to the crux of the matter. You see a list of our council members are on here. I would say about 2/3 of them are represented here tonight. This, by the way, is our monthly meeting. We chose that our opioid council December meeting would be here tonight. So that's why they're here. So let's jump right into point number one. Is our recommendation is to take $80,000 of the opioid settlement funds and propose to Covenant Health, and specifically Rome Medical Center, hiring a recovery navigator in the Rome Medical Center Emergency Department. This will be a new full-time position with benefits. It would serve as an access point to treatment and recovery resources for patients with substance use diagnoses, especially those who have just overdosed. So it will be a full-time position in the ER that will be a primary resource for any patients and or families who have just gone through overdose, to get them pointed in the right direction post-crisis. Next slide. Community Peer Navigator from the Roane County Health Department. This is also a new full-time position with benefits, $80,000, what we're proposing, that's a fully burdened position. So your salary in that range comes out to 50-ish, 50 to 55 once you consider benefits. But this position would focus primarily, but not exclusively, on inmates released from jail who suffer from substance use disorder with placement in recovery programs, job training, obtaining a driver's license, personal finance guidance, finding housing and food. One of the things we've seen so often is that Lieutenant Miranda McNichol is in the audience. She's on our council, and Chief Hahn's here too. And they have a fantastic menu of programs in the jail. But the day you're released, all those programs go away. And the day you're released, you may need a driver's license to be able to get to work, and you can't get there to get one. And you may need help paying your fines, and you may not have good housing options or be able to find a job. And these low-hanging obstacles are so often what trips people up, sends them right back to using or right back to getting arrested. And if you have a navigator who's also working with that navigator in the ER, then you can eliminate a lot of those obstacles and give them a chance of success that they wouldn't normally have. So let's go to the next slide. Next slide there at the bottom, which is trauma-informed specialist, Roane County Schools. Same amount of investment, $80,000, which again is in the 50-ish range for salary. This position came as we were looking at the potential for really investing in prevention programs. We have a fantastic, and I'm telling you, fantastic Roane County Anti-Drug Coalition. If you compare our anti-drug coalition to programs across the state, the effectiveness, and they can show you in the data, in our anti-drug coalition versus others across the state is outstanding. And their advocacy truly for our kids and our people in general is second to none. So when we started to talk about how to address prevention, we were looking at ways to do that. And Claiborne County had just, in August, I was at the Association of County Mayors Conference, and I ran into the Claiborne County Mayor, and they were about to give their whole fund to their 4-H club, who does prevention training in their schools. And there's a program out of the University of Tennessee called the UT SMART Initiative. Randy Boyd started when he first started there as president, and it was to be a resource for counties throughout the state on things just like this. And UT SMART Initiative kind of helped shepherd Claiborne County to create a trauma-informed specialist in their schools that were that will help meet the needs within the schools, not just from a prevention standpoint, but also from an intervention standpoint, and be a much more effective option, according to the experts. So when we brought that information back to our county and really discussed it, we felt like Mike Barber is here. He's the community school health coordinator. Not community, school health coordinator, I think is his title. And we were talking about being trauma-informed schools. And we have trauma-informed schools, but we don't have a specialist who is specifically working on substance use disorders. So if we had, this is where this whole thing fits together. This triangle fits together. Let's say, for example, we have, actually this is a real life example. 16-year-old student has a mother who overdoses. Mother's taken to the emergency room. 16-year-old is sitting on the curb out in front of their house at 2 o'clock in the morning. Officer comes up to him and says, hey, what do you need? What are you going to do? Kid says, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to get up and go to school the next day. Well, kid gets up and goes to school the next day. And by 10 o'clock, by the time that officer remembers to go to the school and check on the student, that student's already got kicked out of class twice and has been threatened to be sent to, MEC or whatever that equivalent would be in that situation. Had this system been in place and a program that we're about to adopt called Handle with Care. Had this system been in place, that school would have been informed immediately, and Mr. Duff can speak to this too, don't let me speak out of turn, Mr. Duff. But, had that system been in place, the teachers would have known, principal would have known, everybody that would touch that kid would have understood that this kid's got an incredibly challenging time right now. Without disclosing, HIPAA stuff and that kind of thing, but would have given this kid the best chance to be cared for in that situation. Would also have had an ER navigator to help that lady find options and find the resources they need. And if she did end up going to jail, then the same opportunities will be available coming out of there. You've got this triangle of communication happen that can actually give these people a chance that the now they don't have. So, and I'll wrap up. In the interest of time, I've already gone way over, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the patience that you've shown me. It's been exemplary. Thank you so much.
Yes.
The last thing is, and Judge Pemberton is here with us tonight as well, is that we are starting, that Rome County is starting under Judge Pemberton's administration, a felony drug court. And that, they've applied for the grant. He can certainly speak to this. He knows the details, but they've applied for a grant to pay for that, but there are startup costs associated with that. So the Opioid Council has recommended $35,000 in startup costs. If they had started earlier in the year, it would have been $50,000, but because of where we're starting in the year, they've asked for $35,000. So if you add all that up, we're looking at a $275,000 request, which is phase one. After this year is over, I had it listed on here, it's like $927,000. I think it's on the timeline. And it's tiny, tiny print that I can't read right now. So at the end of this year, $928,592 is what we'll have in available funds projected at the end of this year. And we're requesting $275,000 for that expense. So I'll be glad to answer any questions. And we also have people in the audience who could answer specific questions as well.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner Henderson.
Yeah, I want to ask the obvious question. I guess these are permanent positions.
No, not necessarily. Good question. So the emergency room position is a one-year pilot. We had a couple of individuals, I think from Ridgeview. I think they were from Ridgeview that came. Brenda, they're from Peninsula. Thank you very much. There have been two pilot programs, one at Methodist and one at Park West, doing exactly this. And they were shown to be effective, and they saved each ER about $300,000. So the thinking is that we would propose to Covenant to do a one-year pilot. Here's $80,000, and if it demonstrates that kind of savings, then we would ask them to cover the expense for that position in perpetuity. The other two positions would be permanent, but we would need to look for potential grant funding for them in the future. If they're positions that the county commission eventually wanted to absorb, we could consider that, but we're not asking for tax money to be spent on these positions.
Well, I feel this is probably something we're going to need from now on. So, I just wondered if the feds or somebody will keep feeding us the money to seed it.
So another piece of this is we want to measure the effectiveness of each of these positions and come back to report on you that we did this and it worked great, and here's how we can show it, or we did this and it didn't work very well. We want to abandon this and try this instead.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Duff.
First of all, I'd like to say I appreciate the efforts of the committee. I know you've worked long and hard on that. And these are fantastic proposals. My questions were similar to Commissioner Hendrickson about how long that these would last. And the other was, when will they begin? Will they be posted immediately or?
Another great question. So if approved, the position with the health department, we would finalize that job description. You have draft job descriptions that you've seen here. We finalize that job description. I'd obviously work with the director of our health department, Laura Connor, who's here tonight, and we would finalize it and go ahead and post it. The Rome Medical Center, we would go to the appropriate people and propose this. And with Rome County Schools, we would go to Mr. Jenkins and you and whoever we needed to propose this position. That would be something that I overlooked.
The other thing is that, about the amount. So there's over 900,000 in there. So this would be covered for a few years. without becoming.
Yeah, if this is successful and we don't find alternative funding sources, then we would
Okay.
come back to the commission and ask for another appropriation.
Very good, that's all I have.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Parks.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I think the pretty good, solutions to maybe stop the bleeding or help. If I had any suggestions for as you all continue to meet, there's a lot of kids that are looking for just to have a good time that end up taking a Percocet that turns out to be a fentanyl pill. And then 30 minutes later, they're dead and gone. So, you know, the Anti-Drug Coalition is doing a tremendous job, I'm sure of, but I'd like to see that expanded, the education of the kids that not necessarily are from troubled homes, but just looking to have a good time at 18, 17, 16-year-old and just fall on a bad night at, you know, at a bad time. So that's all I got.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Cunningham.
I'd like to yield to Dr. Buddick.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. I prepared a handout which each of you should have showing data on drug overdoses. And, Commissioner Parks, you had mentioned when that is a risk of children experimenting with it, but the majority of fatalities that happen are not in the younger people. It's a risk, but not as a major problem so far. If you look on the first page of your handout, this data is from 2015 through 2023, just as of last week. On the upper left, it shows the total number of overdose deaths that we've had, and it's broken down by gender. On the upper right-hand corner shows a graph. In the orange, the number of overdose deaths are plotted. And as you can see, since 2019, we've had a dramatic increase in overdose deaths. We have had 65 year-to-date. We far surpassed any other year. Surprisingly, the average age is around 44 to 45. That's the blue line that's almost vertical. And this has stayed consistent for the last few years. Below, it's broken down by gender. On the second page, these are the numbers of which particular type of substance was involved in each of the overdose deaths, and I've broken it down to prescription opiates, heroin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine. Now, if you add up the numbers, this will be more than the totals I represented on page 1, and that's because the majority of overdose deaths involve 2 or more substances. In many cases, any one substance isn't toxic, but the combination is. But if you look on the graph on the lower part, you'll see what the trend has been. Back in 2015, 2016, prescription opiates were a major problem, and that has fallen down. But as you can see, meth and fentanyl have risen dramatically. And actually, this data is old because just before I came to the meeting, I received 2 more toxicology reports, and we've had 2 more deaths involving both meth and fentanyl. So this is what's killing our people.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
Thank you, Dr. Bode. Mr. Chairman, I had in response to Commissioner Parks' question, Nathan Ray from the Anti-Drug Coalition could speak more specifically to that.
So the language in the presentation that Wade brought up was we included drug-endangered children, which is all children. Every child is affected by the dangers of drugs in our community. I agree with you 100%. We do a lot of one pill can kill education. We need more. We need more education. We need more hands on deck. So thank you for pointing that out. Obviously, you know, we want to affect every single child in this county and bring that message to them because we are facing a potentially deadly drug. And we don't know what you're getting if you're getting it from someone other than a pharmacist or a doctor. So I just want to say thank you for pointing that out, but we 100% agree with you. We need more prevention education.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Berry.
And I guess as you go on and on, even without pills, they're lacing stuff with them as well, right?
Marijuana. We have, the biggest problem we've seen is xylazine, which literally is a horse tranquilizer. We have had 15 deaths at least in the past 2 years where xylazine was involved, and other designer things.
Well, and they're lacing a lot of the pot, not a lot, but there's a fair amount of marijuana that you see out there is laced with fentanyl and things of that. So if you've got friends who are recreational drug users and they want to sit at home and smoke a joint, they better realize that they take a couple of hits and they're hitting the floor. They're hitting the floor. And I see a lot of that in what I do, so.
Judge Pemberton.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
It's all right, we're all right, we're used to that.
I just wanted to.
Can I recognize him? Judge Pemberton.
It's very rude.
And I think from what we're seeing now is we're establishing the administration part of our program, right? We're getting people in place in each area to do some good. And it says that there's $300,000 available the next disbursement fiscal year 2024 budget. And then there's a total disbursement by the end of the year would be 928, so there's gonna be some before August and then some from August to.
Those are projections.
Okay, but, and actually that could be greater than that, right? You know, there are more and more companies still coming in. So I guess my point is, the programs that we have going on in the jail now, can we amplify those to get, so when that person gets out of jail, we have their driver's license for them, and we have a job, and sort of try to tie that into a total package of not just this program, but to try to get jobs for people so that our recidivism will cut down.
So your comments are a bit prophetic, because Chief Hahn and I have been having these conversations. When we meet in January, we start, okay, now what? I anticipate that finding ways to optimize those programs, to build out what makes sense, and use funding to do so. I think that's definitely gonna be one of the things that we focus on.
And it might even be that this committee uses subcommittees to find people to help go out and find jobs, where companies are willing to hire these folks, so that when we do get them, we get them on a program. When they get out, we can actually give them a little check from working that they've accomplished.
Yeah, I would anticipate that in January, we're probably gonna develop, task forces within, to focus on workforce, to focus on specific things, because it's getting too big.
Very good. And again, I would yield to Judge Pemberton if there's anything else on your side.
I know what you're talking about is what we will be doing in part, not exclusively in the felony drug court. And I don't want to take up a lot of time, but they're nonviolent convicted felons, okay? Because we are not going to incarcerate ourselves out of this problem. We have tried incarceration for decades, and we're not going to get out of it by doing that. So what we've got to have is the holistic approach that the mayor just went through, starting when they're yay high all the way through, and to address something, Commissioner Hendrickson, that you mentioned. One thing, at least from my perspective, and the mayor and I have talked about this before, is hopefully my little corner of this, the drug court, it's a 9th judicial district. It's just not Rome, Morgan, Loudon, Meigs, and others. But all the other counties have got to contribute too. So I'm going to be going to them, basically trying to get the same, not the same amount, but pro-rata amount based on population. But what I've got to do is before I can come back to you and ask you for more of this money, I've got to come to you and show you through data what I accomplished with the money you gave me.
Right.
Because, just throwing money at a problem isn't going to solve it.
Right.
I've got to come back and I've got to show you, now it'll take a little while to get up and running, but how much we saved, well, not just how much good we've done with the people, that's the number one thing. But I've got to be able to come back and show you how much we cut down on jail days in jail days, and how much we've done this and that, as best we can justify the money, if y'all vote in favor of it, that you were gracious enough to give us.
Well, I've worked with the jail trying to help them get jobs a few years back, and problem we's run into, they wouldn't hire somebody that was a felon, they couldn't, their insurance wouldn't allow to have somebody that was a convicted felon.
But and that's still out there, but for the last several years, I run a statewide residential drug court. It's not even part of the 9th Judicial District, it's statewide. I get people in it from Mountain City to Memphis, and they spend 12 to 15 months with us. And, you know, when they get out, you know, we help get them jobs. And we're not running into as much of that now as we used to. But that's something too for the participants in our program, that once they've been in the program 6, 8, 10, maybe 12 weeks, they're gonna be expected to work, okay? And I know I'm taking up time, but there's a lot of things that we could talk about the program. But this committee and this mayor have done a great job looking at it holistically and sifting through all the various I want money groups to come up with the plan that they come up with. So I applaud him and them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
So, Chair recognizes Commissioner Brackett. But you want the floor again?
I was just gonna end by saying, you don't often get many more chances with a pile of money that we have before us now. And we've tried some other things, and our anti-drug court, they've been working on peanuts. And finally now they have to be ecstatic to be able to have enough money to buy materials and do stuff they've been wanting to do. And with all of these other aspects of this, so Roane County finally has a chance. And I'm not sure, Dr. Buddy, there are many counties that have, we've had multiple 3 deaths in one night. And so we've got to be the leader of that, I'm sure, in these states. My point is that we've got the money now, and we've got a group of people that are committed to doing it, and I look forward to seeing the results. Thank you.
On our first meeting, we felt like, I went into our first meeting feeling like this group was gonna create a recommendation for how to spend this money and come back to you all and say, okay, here you go. And it took us about 15 minutes to realize this committee will meet forever. It'll always have to be me.
Chair recognizes Commissioner Brackett.
I kinda got a question and a comment. As a parent, teenagers and some that's, I guess you call it grown now. But in the school system, our athletes get drug tested randomly. Some may get one, some may not ever. Is there a law, or is there any way that, why can't we drug test the kids and start at a young age? Is it a money thing? Is it illegal? I mean, why can't we have to do it for a job, so why don't we start holding them accountable early and maybe we catch something? Is that something we can do? Take some of this money? I mean, if it's why not?
I don't know.
If you catch it early, I mean, it just makes no sense to me.
I think, I would say that the Anti-Drug Coalition has their finger on the pulse for what works and what we need to spend more of our resources and time on. But we'll certainly evaluate everything.
Well, I mean, you have them at one place, you have them mingling with each other. They're on the weekends together, you know, whatever I'm saying. How would that not be a preventative way to reach kids that may never get reached, that may not play sports? But, I mean, I'll tell you right now, drug test all of mine, and I'll help you pay for it, but there gotta be some way to reach them earlier than later. It's too late after they're dead, but what if you catch it? 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. I mean, if it's a money thing, let's put the money in. Let's start it. But if it's legal or illegal, if the schools can help, Mr. Turner, is it legal to drug test the kids in school?
No.
It's not legal.
No.
Really?
As a government entity, you have to have probable cause to drug test somebody. You can't just randomly drug test people as a government entity.
We need to change it. All right, thank you.
All right, Chair recognizes Commissioner.
What I was talking about, you know, a lot of places, their insurance won't allow them to hire somebody for felony. Is this something that we might could work around about maybe getting that removed off the regular work, or kind of shaded a little bit where we can get it by, you know what I mean? Because, I mean, we got more jobs, we got people willing to work.
Let me go on the record here and ask you, and make sure you're asking the judge to shake.
I'm just saying.
I really think, Commissioner, that as bad as people need employees, if we get them in the program, or our program, or they're working through some of these other programs, and to get to your question, we can drug test them in our program, because at that point in time, their constitutional rights are not applicable, because they are voluntarily participating in the program, just like you're voluntarily participating on athletic teams, as opposed to just being a member of the school, okay?
Maybe we send something out to volunteer.
We can test them, and we will, so employers know that they are getting a clean person, at least at that time, and we continue to test them throughout. So far, we haven't run into too big of an issue.
Well, just so clear there, the answer's always no until you ask.
That's right.
So,
No, that's right. Yeah.
but I appreciate it, thank you.
All right, final comments, any other comments on 12/23/10? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries 14-0. Resolution 12/23/11, authorizing the county executive to pursue and negotiate partnership with the Anderson County government and other potential regional stakeholders, including city, county, and federal government entities, federal contractors, and economic industrial development organizations. Motion by Berry, second by Dove. Commissioner Berry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, I put this resolution in, after trying, I guess, many years to try to get, our neighbors in Anderson County, and us, we've seen over the years, and really in particular lately, the number of times that we have similar, things going on in our counties, that would affect both of our counties. So we were talking to Mayor Frank, and Mayor Frank was also excited about the opportunity of sharing information with one another, and we've left it open. We hope that the city of Oak Ridge would join. We hope that any entities, the industrial board would join. We're just trying to say, let's get together and let's communicate what we have that we can share, what we can participate together. There's gonna be some things that we can't. The majority of the things we can, and over the years, we've seen the fact that we can, but haven't. So this resolution just says we want to try to work with one another. That means we have a common county commission gathering between the two bodies, to just get the internet and interact and get to see what's going on. The other part, the big part of this is we can start doing things regionally rather than us go to our legislators and ask for something. They go to their legislators and ask for something. We can go together, and it's much easier for those folks to operate on a regional basis than it is individual. But we just felt like it was time. We've got some new folks on both commissions now. Mayor Frank is behind it. We've got Mayor Creswell behind it now, and he's new on this scene. So we just thought the timing was right to do it. Thank you.
Commissioner Dove.
Nothing further.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask that you entertain a motion for an amendment to this, that in the first paragraph, where it says, negotiate partnerships with Anderson County government, and then also in the, now therefore be it resolved, the county executive hereby authorized to pursue negotiate partnerships with Anderson County government, that you also include and Oak Ridge City government. They have specifically requested as of Friday morning to be included in this agreement, which is a significant step forward.
Wow. All right, there's a motion. Mr. Berry's got the motion. Do you accept that as a friendly motion?
I accept it wholeheartedly. Enthusiasm.
All right. So now we're, any other discussion on 12/23/11 as amended?
No, I put on amendment first, right?
I thought we accepted it.
They accepted it as an amendment, so you can vote on the whole thing.
All right, any other discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries 14-0. Motion, resolution 12-23-12, resolution amending the general purpose school fund reflecting changes in revenue expenditures estimate 2023-24 fiscal year. Motion by Commissioner Wilson, second by Commissioner Gaines. Commissioner Wilson.
This is going through the budget committee, this is grant money, nothing else.
Commissioner Gaines.
That's both, sir.
Any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. 12-20, I'm sorry. Motion carries 14-0. Resolution, 12-23-13, a resolution amending, general cafeteria fund reflecting change in revenue and expenditure estimate 23-24. Motion by Hendrickson, second by Parks. Commissioner Henderson.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Parks.
Nothing further.
Any debate, any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. 12-23-14, resolution to apply for the Homeland Security Grant, and if awarded, amend the General Capital Project Fund 171 OES. A motion by Commissioner Duff, a second by Commissioner Hooks. Commissioner Duff.
I have to be at the budget committee, and it already gone through there, grant money.
Commissioner Hooks.
This is an annual grant that we applied for the sheriff's department with, no match. Recommend we approve.
All right. Chair recognizes Commissioner Goss.
Mr. Chairman, I just need to make a statement that I do work for the Office of Emergency Services.
All right, duly recognized. Any other discussion, any other debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. All right, motion carries. All right, a resolution to reclassify the broadband projects with the General Capital Project Fund 171-ARP into one project. Motion by Duff, second by Parks. Commissioner Duff.
It was just combining, two different companies into one general account. County Executive, do you have anything further on that?
No, that's basically it.
That's it.
Okay. All right, then Commissioner Parks.
I don't have anything.
All right, any discussion, any debate? Hearing none, seeing none, Madam Clerk. Is there any other business to come before the Rome County Commission?
I wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Hearing none, seeing none, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor?
Oh, she's got her loose, she's